The notice requirements provided for in the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied. Notice of this meeting is properly given by transmission to the Asbury Park Press, the Star Ledger, the Independent, and the True River Times, and by posting at the Middletown Township Municipal Building, and filing with the Township Clerk all on January 10, 2014. Committeeman Fiore.
Here.
Committeeman Cassell.
Here.
Committeeman Sharpenberger.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sedambrino.
Here.
Mayor Murray. Here. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence to honor the troops serving worldwide, defending our freedoms, constitutions, and way of life. Thank you. Our first item on tonight's agenda, we have introduction of ordinance 2014-3109, zoning ordinance establishing private recreational facilities as permitted use. Motion to introduce.
Second.
Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Cassell.
Yes.
Committeeman Sharpenberger.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sedambrino.
Yes.
Mayor Murray. Motion carries to pass this ordinance on first reading with a public hearing to be held May 19, 2014. Our next item on tonight's agenda, we have Resolution 14-139, resolution authorizing payment of bills for May 5th, 2014.
Second.
Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Cassell.
Yes.
Committeeman Sharpenberger.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sedambrino.
Yes.
Mayor Murray. Yes. Motion carries to adopt Resolution 14-139. Our next resolution, we have 14-140, a resolution authorizing temporary emergency appropriation. Motion to adopt. Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Cassell.
Yes.
Committeeman Sharpenberger.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sedambrino.
Yes.
Mayor Murray.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt Resolution 14-140. Our next resolution, we have 14-141, resolution authorizing deed of conservation easement, Mason and Jennings, Block 888, Lot 10. Motion to adopt.
Second.
Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Cassell.
Yes.
Committeeman Sharpenberger.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sedambrino.
Yes.
Mayor Murray.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt Resolution 14-141. Final resolution, we have 14-142, resolution authorizing easements, the Islamic Society, Block 1045, Lot 11.01.
Motion to introduce.
Second.
Excuse me.
Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Cassell.
Yes.
Committeeman Sharpenberger.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sedambrino.
Yes.
Mayor Murray.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt Resolution 14-142. Our agenda items for May 19, 2014 will include approval of minutes for January 2014 executive and regular meetings and February 2014 executive and workshop meetings. Hold a public hearing on proposed ordinances 2014-3107, an ordinance establishing standards for commercial filming, and ordinance 2014-3108, an ordinance authorizing application for municipally approved farmland preservation. We'll have consent agenda, which will include resolutions, bingo and raffle applications, and volunteer firefighter applications. For discussion tonight, we begin with change order for the 2013 road resurfacing program. Application for fireworks displays for Navasink Country Club. A renewal of liquor license held by Circus Liquors, 1331-44-033-006, and transfer. The Nut Swamp School crossing guard stop signs.
Well, Tony, what is that, just so I know when I drop my daughter off to school?
Since we established the the signs that we have to formally stop them by resolution.
Oh, okay, so those are those flashing schools in
Yeah,
25.
this makes them
Oh,
enforceable.
okay.
It sets up the arrangement between us and the county.
And we have bids for aquatic vegetation management at Shadow Lake.
Ted, this is similar to the program last year. Is there any, aside from the aquatic vegetation management, is there anything that last year, I think there was that thing that, I don't remember. what it was.
Hydro
Hydro rate, but that's not part of this, or?
It is actually, we'll have one section, the next section into the lake, hydro rates again. I believe it's a 2-acre section, so you have that right. And then we will treat the entire edge of the lake with herbicide, as we did last year. We did two treatments, one in June and one in September. So
Ted, this is a progressive area, so it's more area, it's not the same thing over again, right?
the hydro raking is in the next area, in like the.
Yeah, if you went out there, you'd almost see a line, you could see where they stop.
So it's the continuation.
It is,
Right.
right, it's a continuation, we're not doing the same thing back in another.
Exactly right.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Those are effective last
It was, yeah, you can see it, so.
When do you do that? Is it in the fall?
No, the hydro raking is actually done in the summer. We'd like to, as soon as possible, as soon as the bids come in, we'd like to do it right away. We want to get the water chestnuts before they pollinate or the seeds come out.
But after the chemicals are put in?
No, the chemicals are actually put in a different location around the perimeter of the lake. So they can almost be done together, but the hydro raking will likely take place after the first herbicide treatment.
I'm just asking questions that we're going to be asked.
We will, we will.
I think Committeeman Fuhrer was looking for some instructions on how to operate it.
It looks like fun.
Happy to do it if I can drive the Marshman.
Go to YouTube and look at the video, it looks like a lot of fun.
It does. I watched it fast.
Maybe what we should do is we'll put together a little explanation of the sequence of things and put it on the website, because people are curious about
That'd be excellent, thank you.
the order of things.
And we do notify the residents around the perimeter of the lake of the herbicidal treatments, so we can do that too.
Thank you, Ted.
Thanks, Ted. Township, any comments?
I'm going to go with Committeeman Ms. Selfers tonight.
No comments tonight.
Okay. Committeeman Fury.
It's great to see some young people in the audience, but no comments this evening. I'll save it for the next meeting, Mayor.
Thank you. Dr. Sharpenberger.
Thank you. No comments.
Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor, I have nothing this evening.
And neither do I. I'm going to save my comments for the May 19th meeting. So with that said, we're going to,
Make a one.
we're going to move to public comments. So if there's anyone wishing to come forward and speak, please state your name and address. You have 5 minutes. Anyone? Ms. Baum?
There's some questions about the, I'm sorry, Linda Baum, 19 May Court.
Thank you.
Some questions about the Shadow Lake bids. I was wondering, has the bid process been closed? Have you received all the bids?
May 13th, I think is the bid opening. It's been advertised.
Okay, and that's the last day for anyone who's interested to submit?
Yes.
So it's not that I am.
13th is the day they open the bids.
So I think it's 11 or 10 or 11 a.m. We check the bid notice.
Okay.
Bids have to be received by that time,
That
prevailing time.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Who else? Yes, Mr. Watson?
Yeah, Don Watson, 1 Collinson Drive. I was looking over the bill list that was voted on tonight, and there's some charges here to Ashbrit that are listed underneath the police off-duty section of the bill list. I was wondering, I would like a little explanation on why we're paying Ashbrit for off-duty police salaries.
I'd have to look at the specific bill. I couldn't tell you right now, but,
It's just a bill list.
yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell you, why that's coming up now. But obviously, we haven't used Ashbrit for anything for
Yeah, right, since the
a long
storm.
time. But it could be an old bill related to a road project or something like that. So I can certainly find out for you and let you know.
It says reimbursement outside work. Does that ring a
Right.
bell?
Well, it could be that during the post-hurricane, when Ashbrit were working, the police were doing traffic control. So that it could be related to that. But I don't want to totally guess, but that's probably most likely what it
Okay.
is.
You think Ashbrit would have paid our police to do that work? And then now,
Sometimes it's a big lag time between billing and getting paid for those outside work.
yeah, there's a date here. It
jobs.
says 12/20/13.
Well,
What-
2013.
Mr. Watson, what's the page number?
Page 32.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that would be a year later. I'll find out specifically.
Okay, it's also listed in the next area for administration fees. It's a charge of $8,700 there. The salaries is $10,000.
Right.
Is it more a reimbursement, Tony? Are we being reimbursed that, or is that what we're
Well,
paying?
this is a bill list of stuff we're paying for.
Yeah, that's a payment.
P is payment.
Well, this is a bar, so where did, car, meaning that?
And it was in an escrow account, so it was probably paying for.
Outside work.
Probably for outside work for the police. Not a piece, not a payment, it's not a reimbursement. That was an escrow that may be getting paid now on the escrow account, is what it looks like.
So this is probably federal funds that we're
It may have been
using.
from a FEMA
It'll ultimately,
reimbursement.
90% of it will ultimately probably come back to us, yeah.
Right. 90% of it, I
Yeah.
guess.
It was told to say that R's and escrows.
Excuse me?
They both have R's and escrows noted next to them.
Okay.
It means they're coming, payments, reimbursements coming from an escrow account. Which
Right.
is usually what they have to post, police off-duty work, usually if it's a contract, whatever, they post an escrow with the township and then get paid out that when the project's completed or whatever.
All right, good, thank you. At the last meeting, I was looking through that bill list also, and I noticed an item here for emergency management training complex. This is on page 2 of the last bill list. It's for Pelican 1500 case. It's a hard shell case that you can transport computer equipment and stuff in it. Looks like we purchased it to store an oxygen kit. And you know, the company I work for, we buy these cases all the time. And I looked at the price and it seemed kind of high, so I kind of looked it up online. And you could have bought it for half the price of what we paid for it. I was wondering if anybody reviews the bill list before they vote on it.
Yes, we review the bill list before we vote on it, but we don't know that the price could be half, because I don't think any of us, at least I'm not an expert in what the cost of that case specifically would be. We trust in
Yeah,
the professionals who run OEM.
we'd have to look to see specifically which, you know, what case it is.
Could be
Why
state
contract, it could be
contract.
state contract price. You know, Could be a lot of reasons for that.
We bought that through a state contract?
Possible. I don't know until I look at it.
Okay, I think that'll do it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Ma'am?
Yes, Kimberly Beaver of 5 Edgeburg Court. I have some concerns in just making an awareness of the committee and council members of the flooding that is currently a problem on McLeese Creek area. And I'm just representing just a handful of us, and then especially the concern is regarding Trinity's proposal and their drainage design that'll push all of the water towards us. And if I may, I did bring about 6 or 7 photos of just 4 of us as an example of prior normal situation and what happened just the other day as just a prime example of what we deal with, and I really don't think council may be aware of the severity, if it's possible to pass these around.
You can pass out whatever you want, I mean.
What I did is an example of, this is my property, that's normal view, and then the next
This is a pond?
shot. Yes, that is a pond, this is actually McLeese Creek that runs and borders us, and that's an example.
So this is a normal condition?
That's a normal condition, and that's, you know, I have different photos, but there's actually 4 properties in a row lining McLeese Creek that we simply took examples. One home actually had water in it, and there's a photo of that. Another home behind me had water within 5 feet of their property, and the home in front of me had water within 10 feet of being in the property, just with the most recent rainstorm, without any construction or anything happening yet with the design and what's going to happen with drinking.
Ma'am, you bring this to the planning board, you do know that that's the right forum for this, yes? I just want to make sure.
I certainly
know
will
that.
bring it before them as well, but I do know that several of you are not part of that.
None of us are
Yeah,
actually
none of us.
Okay,
on that application.
okay.
Mayor, would you mind if I make a general comment, not specific to Trinity, but specific to planning board applications and drainage? When any application comes before the planning board, the planning board engineer is required to review it such that the property does not, water doesn't flow from that property onto other adjacent properties. Similarly, there can't be any water that flows at a greater rate into the storm sewer that happens now. So there are such things as retention and detention basins that occur. And all the engineering calculations need to be approved by the planning board engineer prior to any approval happening. So in terms of general applications, and not specific to the one you're speaking of, there can't be any excess water that runs off the property onto other properties.
Well, unfortunately, the designs that have been proposed actually have the basins, the drainage basins heading downhill towards us, as well as the output overflow of those basins even projected even further towards us. So again, if this is happening without it, it's a great concern of a large area of the neighborhood.
You know what, man, it's really important that the planning board does see that, though.
Yes.
You know, because they're gonna have to take all this into consideration.
Right.
And that's actually good, you know, actual evidence of what's going on now.
Yes.
And they have to be made apprised of the existing conditions, you know, before they make their decisions. That's really important, so make sure to
Okay.
get it to them.
So should I get it to them prior to the meeting, or how?
At the
What would be
meeting.
the appropriate way to address this?
At the meeting, they're going to have, there's two times to do it. One is specific with regard to the civil engineer. You can ask him questions. At the end of the meeting, the chair will ask for any residents that has any comments or questions on anything.
My understanding is the engineer part of Trinity is done as far as testimony and cross-examination.
That you still have an opportunity
Okay.
for public comments at the end, that you can either make a comment or ask a question, or both.
Okay. Thank you very
And
much.
submit photos in person.
Okay.
Don't give them ahead of time, hand them to the board in person.
Okay, so I should make them for each
Yes.
person, is what is
That would
suggested?
probably be the
Yeah,
best.
probably a good idea.
Okay.
Then they're entered into the record officially, so.
Right.
Okay.
Become part of the record.
But that's
All
very
right.
good.
Part of the testimony, right.
That's-
Thank you very much.
You can say that you brought them here and we referred you to bring them
Okay.
to them, so that would be, so they know we're aware of it too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to speak? Seeing no other members of the public wishing to speak, I move to close public portion and adjourn.
Committeeman Fury. Yes. Committeeman Michelle.
Yes.
Committeeman Sharpenberger.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sedambrino.
Yes.
Mayor Murray.
Yes.
Motion carries to adjourn.